Let's go to the book of Hebrews now.
Yes.
Chapter 9. And verse 3 to 4.
And behind the second veil.
Behind what?
The second veil. The part of the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all.
Behind the second veil. The part of the tabernacle, which is called what?
The holiest of all. Which had the golden...
The holiest of... The holy of holiest. Huh?
Yes.
And we've described that pattern in relation to the human pattern, being the spirit person.
Yes.
Okay? Go on, Pastor.
Which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid on all sides with gold, in which were the golden...
In which now? Now he's talking to us what was found inside the ark of the covenant. What was found inside the ark of the covenant? What was there?
In which were the golden pot.
The golden pot.
That had the manna.
That had the manna.
Aaron's rod. That budded.
Aaron's rod that budded.
And the tablets of the covenant.
And the tablets of the covenant. So inside the ark of the covenant was Aaron's rod that budded, the 10 commandments, the tablets, and also what?
The golden pot.
The golden pot that contained what?
The manna.
Contained what?
Manna.
And these were 3 items found where?
Inside.
Inside the ark of the covenant.
Yes.
Numbers chapter 17, verse 1 to 5. I want now for us to understand why these 3 things.
Okay.
I want us now to dig deeper to understand the anatomy of the Spirit. Why these 3 things that were found inside the ark of the covenant. So let's start with Aaron's rod that budded. Numbers chapter 17 from verse 1 to 5.
And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and get from them a rod from each father's house.
From each father's house. Get what?
From them a rod. From each father's house. All their leaders according to their father's houses.
All their leaders according to their father's house.
12 rods. Write each man's name on his rod. And you shall write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi. For there shall be one rod for the head of each father's house.
Please note that. There shall be one rod for the head of each father's house. Head of each father's house. How many tribes were there?
12.
12 tribes. How many rods is the Lord asking?
12.
And these are not just rods of any people, but the heads.
Yes.
Heads speaking of what? Leadership.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you shall place them in the tabernacle of meeting before the testimony, where I meet with you. And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose will blossom. Thus I will rid myself of the complaints of the children of Israel, which they make against you.
Hear me. If you read the previous scriptures, there was a complaint that came from the sons of Korah. And they said, you, Moses and Aaron, you're putting too much on your shoulders. It is the complaint was, we also are also Levi. Why are you the ones always that you should be the ones to speak. Aren't we also sons of Levi? Aren't we also who God ordained to be part of the priesthood simply because we're coming from the tribe of Levi? So that was the complaint. And God punished them. But the following day, there was now an instruction where God is saying, I want to end this dispute concerning leadership. So the head of that tribe was supposed to bring a rod. And these rods were now placed into the tabernacle. And their names were written on that rod, so that there can be no confusion whose rod it was. Read verse 8.
Now it came to pass on the next day that Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron.
The rod of who?
Aaron. Of the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds, had produced blossoms, and yielded ripe almonds.
And the Lord said, the rod of whom I will choose. The rod of whom I will what?
Choose.
Verse 5.
And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose will blossom.
Will what?
Blossom.
But read verse 8.
Now it came to pass on the next day that Moses went into the tabernacle of witness.
Please take note of what happened to that rod.
And behold, the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had sprouted.
Had what?
Sprouted.
Sprouted.
And put forth buds.
Slowly. Had sprouted. This was a rod that was not planted into the ground. Neither was it watered. It was a rod. But in the presence of the Lord, blessed are those who are planted in the house of the Lord. Sprouted without having an earth, sprouted without having roots, sprouted without having water. This is what the presence of the Lord can do. It sprouted. What else?
And put forth buds.
And put off buds.
Had produced blossoms.
Had produced blossoms. Oh my goodness. What else?
And yielded ripe almonds.
And yielded ripe. So the same rod sprouted. The same rod produced buds. Buds is what happens before the flowering. But the same rod had also blossomed. In other words, flowers were produced. Yet the same rod also did not just produce almonds, but ripe almonds. Listen to this. It speaks of 4 seasons.
Wow. My God.
I don't have time because there's a place I need to reach. It speaks of 4 seasons. That's what Psalms says in chapter 1. So shall this man be compared to a tree that is planted by the riverside, giving its fruit in season and out of season. We're not just talking about almonds, but ripe almonds. How can you describe all 4 seasons maturing within one night? that you have the spring, you have the budding, you have the summer, you have all this, even the harvest.
Yes.
When God was testing Jeremiah, he said, Jeremiah, what do you see? And he said, I see a branch of an almond tree.
What?
An almond tree. Listen to me. We are not told that the rod was an almond tree, from an almond tree, but yet it produced almond. And God asked Jeremiah, what do you see? He says, I see a branch of an almond tree. And the Lord says, you have seen correctly because I'm about to perform my word. When you look at the almond tree, it is the only tree in the land of Israel. Only tree in the land of Israel that when winter is still on, when spring is about to take place, when there's about to be a change of season, it is the only tree that will start flowering in winter before spring comes. So it indicates a coming of a new season before any other tree can detect the change. Hear me. God designed you to be led by your spirit. That rod indicated leadership. Your spirit was designed to lead you. You were meant to be guided and led. That's why the rod was found inside the Ark of the Covenant. I'm talking about the anatomy of the spirit. I think now you'll begin to understand me, that those who are led by the spirit, the rod was in the spirit. And look at this. The rod blossomed within itself all 4 seasons, which means there can be no error in missing your due season. If you can have the ability to listen and to be led by the Spirit.
Wow.
You cannot miss the appointed time. You cannot miss your season. You cannot miss your time of visitation. Because inside the Ark of the Covenant, I already told you this, that the Ark of the Covenant, the gold represented the divine, the wood represented the man, and outside was the gold. So inside the spirit person, we're talking now about the anatomy that is found inside the spirit person. Inside the spirit person is found leadership. Not just leadership, but leadership that can lead you before seasons change.
So wow.
Before there's even a change of season, your spirit person has the ability to discern that there's a shift that is about to come my way. The rod, this scepter shall not depart from Judah. Thy rod and thy staff protect me, guide me. Leadership was designed for the spirit person, not your mind, not your brain. We're talking about the anatomy of the spirit. You are meant to be led from inside. There I will meet with you and speak with you. From inside, you're given instructions. From inside, you're given guidance. From inside comes leadership. From inside comes the discernment of seasons. From inside. comes instructions. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, protect me, guide me. It is the same rod that you use to discipline a child, which means even self-discipline should be a product of your spirit person. And so many of us are waiting to hear an external voice. But within your spirit was given the ability to lead. To lead. Your spirit person was given the authority. The scepter shall not depart from Judah.